Welcome back to another edition of Rebel Watch. I'm your host, Cameron Hassan. Alongside me is NewsWatch sports anchor Campbell Holmes and sports reporter Graeme Farrell. Obviously, it was a big week this past week. We had two home series in Oxford, and also the Grove Bowl was going on, so tons of action. But we're going to start things out with the baseball team, who had I wouldn't say a miracle series win. After seeing game one, I was not feeling good about it, but they ended up winning big, especially in game three. So what did y'all think about the performance?
Obviously amazing to win against your rival, first off. But it was our first time beating them since 2015, which blows my mind because both of these programs are really good at baseball. You would think they would edge each other out like year after next and everything like that. But no, Mississippi State dominated us in baseball so far, like the past 9 years. But game one, it was very scary because, 8-0 loss, you kind of just get flashbacks like, oh no, is this going to be another series we get swept at home, things like that. But game two, I think it was the best win on the season for the Rebs because they fought back, and it was just, you could see it was the best complete team effort. It was an amazing job. And then game three, you got to give it to Mason Nichols. He did incredible job. He went 7 innings, 4 hits, only 1 earned run. The thing that I worry about him though now is that he's not scheduled to be in the starting lineup to be starting on Sunday.
Do you think that's going to hurt his ego a bit, maybe?
No, he actually has shoulder stiffness, so
that's why.
Yeah,
okay.
He has shoulder stiffness, and he's 4-0 on the year, so that's going to be a pretty big bummer for the team. So other guys are just going to have to step up. But this series was incredible. Just to win over your rival after not winning after 9 years is just a great job. So shout out to the Rebs. Hopefully this will maybe get the ball rolling, some momentum, because they need it.
I'm hoping so too.
I think the Saturday game was definitely the one that the players, the coaches, and honestly like us students, it really created that vibe where we were like, okay, wait, maybe we can actually win this. And then again, like you said, I had mentioned Mason Nichols last week being, he can be a really key player to us, and he did exactly what I thought he would do. So
yeah, and obviously, like you said, they're hoping to keep this momentum going into this week, so they're going to hit the road to face Georgia. Is there anyone that, this Georgia team, what are you kind of expecting from them? Do you think this will, obviously any SEC team is going to be a challenge to face, but what are you kind of expecting from them?
I'm thinking that the Rebs are going to, keep this momentum going. I think it's going to be challenging considering it is in Athens, but I think it's going to be a really close one. I can't really tell who I think is going to win the series, but I think it's going to go down to the end. I do think so, like on Sunday.
It's difficult, obviously going into another SEC ballpark. And the fact that I'm pretty sure every single series we've had in SEC play, they've all been ranked, every single team.
Yeah.
So it's just difficult. You can't catch a break, but that's the reason why it's the best conference for college baseball. But who I'm looking at for Georgia is Charlie Condon. He is, I'd say, the best player in college baseball right now. He leads the SEC in average, RBIs, and home runs. He's on a tear, hitting 482, 54 RBIs, and 24 home runs, and we're not even we're halfway through the season. And this guy's just amazing. But I think the key factor for Ole Miss to win this series is, we're going to have to keep the bats alive. I think we got to go out and get game one because especially that this Mississippi State series, it was very emotional. So
at least we had the home crowd behind us, and this time we won't. So it's got to come out swinging.
So it's going to be emotional. They're just going to have to center themselves and just play their own game. Don't try to do too much. Mike Bianco just has to harp, guys, let's play our baseball and let's do the fundamentals correctly because we've seen them throughout the season. They've struggled with the fundamentals, and so I'm just hoping that they play well, do well, and I think Athens. I think we have a shot there. I think we'll win the series 2-1.
No, I think so too. And also, obviously Georgia had that drama with the Mississippi State team with the 11-player ejection. So hopefully that doesn't happen to us.
Well, that actually started with the guy who hit that go-ahead home run in the second game, Johnny Long. And he started everything, it's just, I don't.
Do you think there was something else going on?
No, it's just a guy that just likes to talk, smack on the field, doesn't appreciate the game of baseball sometimes, But there's players like that, so can't be too mad about it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the Rebs are able to take the win in Athens this week, but we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the softball and their big win this weekend.
It's that time of the year again, fellas. when the mornings are hot, the afternoons are hotter, and football is on its way back. Now, games is won by the battles fought in August. Everyone that's not revered as an Ole Miss legend has been in your shoes before, trying to survive that Mississippi heat, competing for a spot, and knowing the sacrifice that it takes to make it in this league. You go into this money collection of men from 100 different places, and if you work, you emerge from it as one team with one goal and one heartbeat. The SEC awaits you. And if they don't know who you are now, they will soon.
Where are we gonna go?
Someplace warm. A place where the beer flows like wine. Where beautiful women instinctively flock like the salmon of Capistrano. I'm talking about a little place called
Oxford, Mississippi.
To see it is to believe it. You hear about it, but you just have to see the party.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Grove.
The sound and fury are here.
Let's go.
Getting out of toe down.
Pageantry, the pride, the pomp is unmatched and unrivaled.
This stadium has come unhinged.
This is what college football is all about.
Oh, as he gets walloped.
No coach is having more fun than Lane Kiffin.
This is the place to be in college football right now.
Welcome back to Rebelwatch. Well, we're now going to talk about the softball team who got a much needed series win this past weekend. It was against Western Kentucky. You know, they're not in conference, but I think it definitely built up some confidence, some momentum, especially I think it also showed how much it helped them out, seeing them in the midweek against Louisiana Tech this weekend. I mean, the week. But the Western Kentucky series, what were we thinking? I mean, obviously they did lose game one.
Right.
But they looked pretty dominant throughout the rest of the weekend.
And like you said, we had talked about last week that, you know, this was a much needed series win to add some confidence to the team, add a little boost of energy to, you know, remind them that they are good, they can do this. The fifth inning of one of the games was absolutely amazing. I'm pretty sure it was the Sunday game. They scored 6 runs in that inning, and I thought that was awesome, including, you know, Lexi Brady, Caitlin Riley, all of them. I think that, you know, like we said, it's an easy team to get some wins to the record, but I do also think that it helped them mentally.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, just, you know, they've struggled, obviously, this season, just especially at home, they've struggled.
Yeah.
It has not been a great home record. They've done most of their damage on the road. So it's just good, you know, get centered back at home, especially just with everything coming up. When you got Texas A&M, ranked team, it's going to be difficult because, you know, we're 3-12 in the SEC play this year.
Yeah,
Just haven't done well. Our only series win, surprisingly, is against LSU.
Right.
Possibly our toughest opponent.
Yeah,
out of all
toughest
of them.
opponent, and did that on the road. So just going to have to see. You know, obviously the girls are, like, hitting the ball well. They're doing very well. When it comes defensively, they've struggled a little bit. They've made some errors that have also, like, cost them to, you know, go to extra innings in these games. So it's just back to the fundamentals. But they're picking it up. Like, the slack, obviously, is getting picked up. It is halfway through the year. But I think they're going to do a great job with this A&M series. Fortunately, I don't think they're going to take it. I think A&M just has too much firepower when it comes to the offensive side. And the pitching, we have our one pitcher, I forget her name, but she's done a great job all year. But it's just offensively for the A&M, they're just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And like we talked about Texas A&M, they're 34-9 right now. I mean, obviously, like we said, our conference record is not the best. I mean, theirs is only 12-6, but still better than us. So I kind of agree. I think this might be a loss for us.
Do you think we'll be able to pull out at least one game, or are we thinking a sweep?
That's hard to say. I'm going to go with the sweep because it just.
Okay.
I'm gonna be
I
optimistic.
don't mean to be mean to them.
I love the honesty.
But sometimes you got to tell it how it is. This team just isn't playing good softball overall in SEC play. These teams are better than Western Kentucky and Louisiana Tech.
Right. And I did want to talk about how you said how they're going into. It seems like they're going into extra innings a lot,
Yeah.
and especially that Louisiana Tech game was on a Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
It was already a doubleheader. It was a rescheduled doubleheader from last week because of weather, and then they win the first game, and then they are like, I don't want to say they're exhausting themselves, but then they're going on a second game.
Oh, yeah, they feel the fatigue.
Like going into all these extra innings on like a Tuesday, Wednesday night. I mean, it's just like,
We
okay.
don't need to be doing all that.
We don't need to be doing all that.
And
but
don't mind, they also got classes they got to go to.
that's
and everything.
exactly.
Yeah, the life of a student athlete is difficult, especially when you're having to do that. But it's what you sign up for. So we're going to hope that the Rebs get it done. Just might be too much of a task to happen.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna be optimistic and say they win one. Okay.
One.
Okay. All right.
I think maybe one.
I'm thinking maybe one. Maybe it's an extra innings win.
Right.
We don't know. But hopefully the Rebs won't get swept. But they'll pull out something this weekend. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Ole Miss football team and what went down at the Grove Bowl.
Ole Miss 18th NCAA tournament appearance.
This is fun, folks, as Baker's peeling it. Little heat check. Snow Collins for three. Rita!
Said, I love Madison Scott.
Ole Miss Rebels are having a lot of fun, and you can see why.
My passion is journalism. Here at the University of Mississippi, we produce a nightly half-hour newscast, broadcasting regionally on cable and globally on the World Wide Web. It's the kind of experience that is preparing me to walk into any news station in the country with the skills and abilities I need to succeed. So it's not just preparing me for the real world, it is the real world.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Welcome back to Rebelwatch. Well, we're now going to talk about the football team. They obviously had the Grove Bowl this past weekend. It looked a lot different. I mean, I knew what we were expecting and what was going to go down at the Grove Bowl this year, but I feel like it was even more miscellaneous than I even thought. A lot of fun.
Right. Just like it kind of gave me like, not in a bad way, but like a circus vibe. I mean, it was just like literally everything all in one.
And watching the broadcast, it was a lot of chaos.
Yes.
I can only imagine what it was like being in the stands. I wasn't able to make it myself.
Very chaotic. There was just so many moving factors, I feel like. And also just the split field was throwing me off and everything.
Right.
But, it is different what we did. But you got to give a shout out to Lane Kiffin. He's thinking outside the box.
We were definitely being talked about.
Yes, we are. Yes. It might be good, might be bad on social media, but hey, we're being talked about. All press is good press.
That's true. That's true.
And my thing is, he thought outside the box. This is like a cool opportunity, and I see it as like for the football players that this is telling them it's more than football. Like have fun, guys. Like we're here to build you into grown men. teach you the way, but like football's
Definitely
not
some
everything.
type of team bonding experience, to say the least.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I feel like the team chemistry is at an all-time high. I see on Instagram and everything.
I have to agree as well.
Yeah,
yes.
like they're all posting with each other, and I love it. I love that we got to see Dart throw the ball. Having his surgery in the off season, it was good to see him move around. I was really excited about Austin Simmons. He's been a force on the baseball field, but when it comes to football, that guy can really sling the football. And so it was just, I think it was a great event. I would love to see the pads come on, see some people hit each other. But, no injuries. Got to be thankful about that.
I also think that it was great that they added some more stuff to it because I feel like it got more students there. I feel like in the past it's been, alumni and, locals in Oxford that have families here that go to those games, but a lot of students went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even saw people on social media that went to school here, alumni. They're like, wow, students get to bring in their own coolers. Like, oh my gosh, I would do anything
One
to
time
go to
only,
that time.
if only they would allow that for the fans during the regular season, but
we get the
that would be too much. Yeah. That would be too much. But obviously, I know we weren't able to see too many players in action, but was there anyone that y'all saw that you were excited, but besides Simmons, obviously?
Caden Lee, the upcoming wide receiver, he looks like he's going to be great. They call him Honeycomb. He's got the hair like it. He did the What's Up, Brother with sketch and everything. I think he's going to be our breakout wide receiver. I know we got Juice Wells, everything, Jordan Watkins. Obviously, Trey Harris, I think, is going to be first team All-SEC. But I think Caden Lee's going to be that guy in the slot that, basically plays what, he does the rover and everything. And he's going to be our guy that we get the ball in those short yardage situations. And I think he'll be able to get it done.
Yeah, I agree. I was most excited to see about Trey Harris. I think that no one can beat him. I think, again, All-SEC, I think he's going to be one of those players we see this season where he's just going to be dominant and everyone's going to be talking about him, I think.
Yeah, one guy that, that didn't deal with football that I love to see was Joey Chestnut.
Was definitely the talk of the town.
That guy is just amazing. When he can just turn it on like that. The guy is just able to just put down hot dogs like nobody else's business. It's just incredible.
Do we know how many he ate?
I think he
total?
ate 22.
It was like 22
but that's
in
like
2
a snack
minutes.
for him.
Yeah, he did it in 2 minutes. He let everyone else get a head start and everything.
He still won. And he was all around the square later that night, too.
Yeah.
I know that I saw him at the library.
Did you take a photo with him?
I did not, but when I got there, he was surrounded by so many girls right by the stage, and he was taking pictures with them. He was being really nice, but he was having a good time at least.
Yeah, he even said in his press conference after eating all those hot dogs, he went to Quack's after and got another hot dog. So the guy just loves hot dogs. You got to give it to him.
I mean, I feel like I would be sick of them at this point.
Yeah, I would be too. But my thought is, where did Lane Kiffin get that idea? Just to bring Joey
he's
Chestnut.
like, oh, yeah, I just DM'd him and whatnot.
Yeah,
we get
into
that,
DMs.
but where did the original thought, I'm going to bring, this is what I'm going to bring in?
It had to be one of his kids,
Yeah,
right?
how did it come to
Yeah,
fruition?
maybe they were just chit-chatting one night, talking about things, and he just saw maybe Joey Chestnut on his TV and thought, yeah, that's the guy we
Honestly,
need.
it could be. I could see it being Knox. Knox definitely was
For
probably
sure.
like, let's get Joey Chestnut or something. But overall, it was a great event. It just, a lot more student population especially, came out. It looked like a great time. And the dunks that were happening with the dunk contest.
Oh, it was awesome.
They were so athletic. It's insane.
Yeah. And then, I know we talk about it a lot, but about our expectations for next season. But what are you hoping from this team? Obviously a playoff run we want, but do you think this could be a possible championship team?
Yes, I actually do. I think that we could get to the playoffs easily, maybe, hopefully. I think Jackson Dart will definitely be a Heisman prospect. I've been seeing stuff all about him in the offseason. Obviously, he had that surgery, like we said. I'm really, really hoping that he'll lead this team to, hopefully a playoff run.
It is, for me, all of them came back for a reason. This is do or die year. This is the most packed, schedule and everything that we're going to be having, especially with the new SEC comers. It's going to be difficult, but we have the most built team that we've ever had when it comes to talent, everything, team chemistry. So I do expect us to make the playoff. I expect us to go for an SEC championship. I don't see why we can't beat Georgia here now that Alabama and Nick Saban
is out of the picture.
Yeah, they're out of the picture.
We don't know what they're going to come up with, but
we don't. Kalen DeBoer is always going to have something.
Yeah.
He did a great job at Washington last year. But this is our year to go and get it and to move Ole Miss football into the next step, into the future, because Lane Kiffin, he's at the helm. Jackson Dart will be in New York for the Heisman ceremony. I'm very excited. There's so much that can happen. I just hope injuries don't ruin it.
Don't ruin it all for us, yeah.
And that's just the main factor. Just injuries, got to stay healthy, and just play good football. I'm very excited for this.
I'm very excited. It's been so nice to actually see us in the preseason hype and not, being disrespected. But hopefully they don't jinx it for us. You know? Well, should be exciting to see how next season turns out. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs.
The dynamic freshman is starting to make his impact.
Dagger with the shot clock down to 1. That 3-ball drops for Jamin Brakefield.
Fagan from the corner with a triple. Farrell for 3, and that's a big response. 3-ball, yes. Miss shooting lights out of the pavilion.
And give him one more. Wow.
Alley-oop. Well, you can't teach that. Well, that should give Ole Miss a boost.
Creating a legacy takes time, takes dedication, spirit, and a greater vision. That vision starts here at the University of Mississippi. What will you be remembered by? Your character, your contributions, your friendship. Your legacy will define who we are now and who we are becoming for our state, our students, and our future. Ole Miss, build your legacy.
We are rebels. For more than 160 years, we've been accomplishing the impossible, from conducting the world's first lung transplant to helping prove Einstein was right. From preserving the past to saving the future. We are Mississippi's flagship university, a place where passion and learning unite, where friends become family, where small-town charm meets world-class innovation. We are the University of Mississippi. We are Ole Miss.
Welcome back to Rebelwatch, where obviously the NBA playoffs are amongst us. The play-in tournament is going on right now. I've had some interesting results, interesting matchups. Is there any matchups that really stood out to you so far?
Yeah, I'd definitely say the Kings and Warriors game. I mean, Klay Thompson, yikes. He's 0-10, and I think it was 0-6 from 3, if I'm right. But the big three from the Warriors, Draymond, Steph, Klay, I think it's the end of their dynasty, if I'm being completely honest. I think that they just looked like a train wreck. So I'm actually really happy that the Kings are getting the chance to, they're playing, who are they playing? The Pelicans. They're playing the Pelicans tomorrow. And so I'm really hoping they get that win because I think their young team is going to really dominate if they really make it into the playoffs.
I love that's music to my ears right there. I love that. Send the Warriors home sad. I'm done hearing about that team. Heard about them all my life. Done with it. Break them up. Dynasty's over.
This is personal for you.
I am very, very worried about this New Orleans game because we are 0-5 against them and during the season. I gotta say,
are you scared of Zion?
Zion is actually out on Friday.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he hurt himself with the other playing game versus the Lakers. So that's going to be a big factor. But with the Lakers and everything happening now, let's get to the Eastern Conference. The Heat lost last night to the 76ers. Bulls pulled it out against the Hawks. So it's going to be Bulls versus Heat. Pretty sure that was the same matchup that they had last year.
Yeah.
And then they went on that finals run. But Jimmy Butler, unfortunately, is going to be out for a couple of weeks with the MCL. You just don't like to see that. You hate to see players, right when it gets to the time,
Right.
when it needs to
when
happen.
they really need them, and then it's like it kind of is like just throws everything up in the air after everything they worked so hard for.
Yeah, so it's difficult. But these matchups that are going to happen with the playoffs are going to be incredible, especially on the West side. I feel like the West has been so even all year. While on the other side, you got the Celtics, who are just obviously the juggernaut. I do believe they will be making it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't really see anyone in their way. Maybe, possibly, I could see, I don't know. I got to say maybe the Knicks maybe messing it up. Because the Knicks, I feel like the Knicks mess up their type of basketball that they play. It's very slowed down, one-dimensional type of basketball. They do a lot of isolation, but it's going to be very great. I'm going to go with I do think the Nuggets, when it comes to the Western Conference, are going to get back to the Western Conference Finals. I'm going to go with my Kings, obviously. I got to get there.
No shame in the game.
No shame in that. But if the Kings don't make it, I think the Mavericks have a really good shot. I think Luka and Kyrie can really do something. I got friends from Dallas, so I've heard a lot of it. So, yeah, they've got something cooking over there.
I also think the Thunder have a really good chance to make it far in the playoffs. You see Shea, you see, Chet. They're all young players, and if you watch their post-game interviews, they're just a bunch of kids. They always have fun, and they really do remind me of, last year's Grizzlies team, how they just want to have fun. Their main goal is just to play basketball. They're not trying to, be this special and show-offy team. They're just playing basketball, and if they win, that's awesome. And so I'm really hoping they're going to make it far, but I do think the Celtics are going to dominate everybody, and I think they're going to be the champs of this year.
Yeah, you talk about the Thunder. I feel like they're the most disrespected one seed ever. You don't
see anything about them.
Yeah, nothing. Like Shea Gilgeous is almost having an MVP season, and we're going to see. I think he's at the forefront for the MVP spot. And you don't really hear anything about him. And unfortunately, it would be the Kings if they do win that goes up against them. They got Chet Holmgren. He's played great all year. They've been very durable. He's played 82 games. So I think the only thing that will stop him is injuries. But you talked about them being young. Playoff experience is a very, very key factor. And when you get in those tight moments where it's coming down to the very end and how one game can set a whole series and completely rearrange it. It's just a lot that can happen, but it's exciting to see. Young teams in the NBA just having a great time playing good basketball.
I do like to see the new generation coming up.
Yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah.
And another team that is also, building up and, you don't really hear about them is the Timberwolves too. You hear about Cat and Mike Conley and all of them, but they're not talked about as real contenders when it comes to the conference finals and the actual finals. So I'm kind of hoping that they get more, attention in the playoffs.
Oh, especially with Anthony Edwards. He's one of the best players in the NBA. My only thing that I worry about with that is Cat is coming off that injury.
Right.
So we are going to have to see how he does. Rudy Gobert is obviously going to be great defensively, but their main factor is going to be Naz Reid off the bench. They're sixth man of the year. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Me too.
But also, Campbell, I know I have to bring it up. I'm sorry. I know you're a big Grizzlies fan.
No, we're not even going to talk about this season.
I just had to check on you. How are you doing?
Good, because I'm thinking about next season.
That's good. I like the positive attitude.
Yeah, I went to the last game of the season. It was against the Nuggets, so you can imagine how that one was. We had, I think it was 11 players on the injury report list. So thinking about that and then thinking about next season, Jaren, Desmond, Marcus Smart, all of them, they're going to be back. And, they're talking about them being, contenders for the conference finals next year. I'm going to say that's true. So it'll be good next season. But this season, we're going to forget about it.
Yeah, this season for the Grizzlies, it was tough. It was just tough to watch, just like the injuries. You guys had the most players on a roster.
It was like 36,
yeah,
I think.
Something like that. And that's just, in the NBA, that's just so hard to do. Mine, when you have 2 injuries, there's already, you got to do, pick off so many people, free agency, hit that, bring up guys from the G League. It's just, the way the front office handled it, I think was amazing. Even though it wasn't a successful season, they still put a good basketball team out on the court every night.
Yeah, and we also got to see Gigi Jackson just actually bloom into a star player. I mean, I think he could be a starting player for us next year, and he's only 19 years old. So who knows what's going to happen.
Young teams.
Crazy. Well, it should be interesting to see how all the playoffs go down. I did have the Celtics and Nuggets, by the way, guys. In my final. Thank you for asking. But yes, so excited to see what happens in the playoffs. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to tune in next week. Campbell will be hosting next week, so it should be so exciting. Make sure to follow us at Rebel_Watch for the latest sports updates. Thank you, and good night.
Go Kings, like the beam.